Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, welcome. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you guys can stay to the end. As you can tell by the title, we're doing a get ready with me story time. So I'm gonna achieve this flawless makeup look, but I'm also gonna tell y'all a juicy story time. So if you guys like story times, go get your popcorn, your drinks, snacks, get in a quiet place, and let's talk about it.
Go outside. Big time forward. The star boy there.
Now you guys know what we're going to be talking about while I do my makeup, and let's just go ahead and get straight into it. I'm also going to be reading like off of my text message thread and like, you know, just like kind of skimming through. I'm going to also put like stuff on the screen as well, but it was hard for me to like find some of the stuff because it is old. This happened in like April, and we're about to be in September tomorrow, I think. Tomorrow, or hold on, let me see because I gotta see the date today. No, Sunday. So today is Friday, August 30th. But without further ado, back in April, I was moving from Texas, and my mother-in-law had came across a stray Rottweiler that pulled up to her doorstep. And anybody that knows me personally knows that my favorite dog, and I've always wanted a Rottweiler. I used to want a golden retriever growing up, but then I fell in love with my friend when I was living in New Orleans a couple years ago. She and her husband had owned 2 Rottweilers, and I just thought they were the sweetest dogs ever. Like, I was so obsessed with them, and that made me change my mind about like Rottweilers. I still kind of like be hesitant with pit bulls and stuff, but I just feel like as long as you I guess it just depends on how you like train the dog, because some dogs can be an aggressive breed, but they can be just so sweet, you know. So basically that's a little backstory of that. So yeah, I had liked the dog or whatever. I grew up just wanting to, hold on because I can't find, there we go, I couldn't find my dip brow stuff. So yeah, so basically, yeah, they own a Rottweiler, and I just really wanted one. I've always said like, oh, when I get a dream house, I want a Rottweiler, you know, like just a big guard dog, da 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 da. And I'm gonna be looking to the side too, because my camera is kind of at work. I can push it over. I need to see my eyebrows, and then let me zoom you guys in so you guys can see. And I just have my hair in a ponytail. I do need my ends clipped again, as you can see. But not too bad though, not too bad. I got them clipped a couple months ago, so it's not too bad. I'll probably get them clipped this weekend or next week. But yeah, so it was in that moment, my mother-in-law called us and told us that she had found a Rottweiler up at her doorstep. And where we're from, like, it's a small town, really country, like you don't see Rottweilers around. So I was just like, there is no way that a Rottweiler showed up. Like, this had to be a joke because they're so expensive. And yeah, for starters, they're so expensive, and then for two, like, I just feel like no one is gonna let that type of dog go. Like, they are extremely popular breed, and I don't know, like, where we're from, it's not like a rich town, so it's just like small town. Yes, small town, small people, like, so I just feel like it didn't give that. So basically, she said she found it. We were asking all the questions and stuff. She ended up showing us, and he was like a baby. Looked like he literally was just born, which was so confusing on how to even make it to the doorstep. And then also too, like, that made me think he was in a neighborhood. And then also too, like, he was still drinking milk and stuff. He had to be probably like under 6 weeks, which was so sad. So my mother-in-law ended up taking him in, and yeah, like she ended up taking him in, and then she knew like I love Rottweilers, so she was asking me like, me and my man, did we want the dog or whatever. But at the time, like, we was in a process of trying to find a place here where we currently are, and we literally moved last minute. Like, it was kind of like oh, my man wasn't playing there no more, so I had to jump on it. And then we thought we were gonna go to Cincinnati, so I had already like found a nice townhome in Cincinnati. We had already talked to the realtor and everything, and End up getting everything closed, and then last minute, literally the day before we were gonna fly there, he decided he wasn't going there anymore. So it was just a lot going on at the time, basically. So yeah, she just kept telling us about the doll. So I kind of like try to convince my man, like, you know what, like, we should get him, like, you know, I love dogs or whatever. Like, we don't have a second baby right now. Obviously, we want a second baby, but I was like, you know what, maybe a dog first, just to see how Nolan would do. And I know, like, the responsibility of a dog is basically like a child. And well, for me, I just feel like I take care of animals just like I would take care of a human, and I'm a really great person. So I just feel like it wouldn't be like, oh, just sit the dog in the house and kind of do what I want. I was literally treated like Nolan. Like, I had ended up getting everything, like looking, well, not even getting everything, looking at things on Amazon, like what I can get him or whatever. So she sent me pictures of him, and obviously we knew he needed to get his shots and things like that. So I ended up showing my dad, because my dad grew up with the Rottweiler named Roxanne, and he was so obsessed with his dog. Like, he was so obsessed with her that, like, he cried when she passed away. She ended up basically dying from obesity, because she was eating, like, my dad was feeding her like a lot, and he loved that dog. Like, still have pictures to this day, like, that he had showed or whatever. So it's so crazy. Me and my dad have so much in common. That's his favorite dog, and then that's my favorite dog. So I ended up showing him the picture. I told him the backstory or whatever. I sent him the picture, and he just kept it, like, honest with me. Like, he just kept it straightforward. He was like, yeah, I wouldn't get a dog that's like a stray dog. He was like, it's nothing wrong with that, but you don't know, like, what they're mixed with. He was like, and I'll tell you right now, like, that dog is not fully Rottweiler, which I kept saying that too. I was like telling my man, like, no, this dog kind of looks like a Chihuahua a little bit mixed. Like, I was asking my dad, like, do you think this dog is fully Rottweiler? Because I know, like I said, I had a friend that had two, and they didn't look like that even as babies. So I know, like, you know, you gotta give time for them to, like, grow into it. But also too, I feel like the dog had been, like, walking around, haven't been eating, like, was really bony and everything. So my dad was just like, yeah, I wouldn't do it or whatever. So I kind of was just like, okay. And I'm the type, like, me and my dad are so close, so, like, if he says something, I literally would, like, think on it and take his word, and he kind of can convince me. So I end up talking to my cousin, which he's back home as well, and he owns a, I guess you could call it like a kennel type of place, like a facility where he trained dogs, he do dog shows, like, he do all types of stuff, breed dogs and everything. So, and I know they had a newborn baby at the time, so I'm like, okay, let me just ask them, like, you know, we'll ask him really, like, what do he think. He said the same exact thing that my dad said, like, oh yeah, I wouldn't do that, and that's not a full Rottweiler, so, like, you know, it might be ugly, like, whenever it grows up or whatever, you might not want it, and it's not going to be a big Rottweiler like you think. So, and you know, Rottweilers grow fast, and to this day the dog is still small. But yeah, so fast forward to, and y'all don't mind this pimple, it came out of nowhere. I think because my son literally be in my bed, I had to wash my sheets, he'd be having, like, sticky hands and everything, and my face is so sensitive. So, but yeah, so fast forward to where was I at? I can't get sidetracked because I would literally forget. But yeah, fast forward to, I talked to my cousin, he said the same thing. So I was like, you know what, maybe I should hold off. But at that point, like, I'm the type, like, once I have my mind set on something, now I want it. Like, that's just like that's like with anything, like, and once I have my mind already on it and set, thinking I'm about to get it, it's kind of like a, if you see me keep looking down, it's because I'm looking at my son's monitor. I have it off, so the sound, because it's like his sound machine, but I can see him. I have the sound off, but I can see him. But yeah, so basically, yeah, I had my mind already made up. I'm like, no, like, I want this dog, I'm gonna get this dog, or at least I want a Rottweiler. So I was so devastated, like, once my dad had said that, and he ended up, like, one of his homeboys, they had a kennel or whatever, but the prices was crazy for a Rottweiler. So he was just like, let me see if, and I know this look crazy, trust the process, he was like, let me just see if I can find someone. I put too much on, it's like a sun tint too, by the way. But yeah, he was like, let me just see if I can find, like, a smaller business or, like, somebody else that's selling them because they're so expensive, da 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 da. So he ended up finding this place, this website, which it came up like from Texas, or they kind of do Texas, or they ship dogs and da 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 da. So my dad looked into it or whatever, and he was just like, oh, it's like they have a bunch of Rottweilers. They just basically just had like some dogs, like they was just born, so they have some. So I'm like, okay. So I end up going on the website, and like I'm gonna put hopefully I can find it by the time I edit this video, because it was really hard. Couldn't find it before I started this vlog. So yeah, it was a website, and I kind of like just went, my dad sent it to me, I went to it, and they had like a bunch of dogs online, and it basically just had this thing where you would just put your name, email and phone number, and they'll reach out to you about the dog. Like you just tell them which dog you're interested in, the name of it, like, you know, like a little box, put in the message, and that's kind of like how it went from there. So the number texted me, and they basically just reached out and was just like, and I'm not gonna read like every single message because it was a whole thing like back and forth with them, but they basically reached out and they was just like, hey Amber, like we see you're interested in Rocco. That was the dog name, Rocco. And it was a boy dog. I think the dog was maybe like 4 to 6 months. And it was a cute dog and everything. So it was like, yes, Rocco would be available, or he is available, like, you know, basically needed more information from me. So they asked me like, and I kept saying this too about this company, like I had loved how they asked me the right questions. They were just like, oh, like what makes you a great fit, like do you work, would the dog be by themselves all day, like just all the questions that I'm like, oh, they're legit, like they care about their dogs. And then they had like this thing where the vet records, they give you all the vet records. You also get free, free pet care, or like going to get shots and stuff, like to the vet and stuff. You get all that free up until a year. Like they take care of everything up until a year, the shots and everything. So I was like, oh, like this is really nice. So basically, like we were talking, going back and forth. They said, oh, I think you're a great candidate. Like, you know, how would we get the dog to you? So they had like this thing where they say, well, we can bring the dog to you for $100 for the shipping, or you could come pick him up from the airport. No, it was you come pick him up from the airport for $100, or you could get him, like they bring him to your doorstep for $200. So I was like, you know what, like honestly it didn't matter which one. I was just like, you know, I was just ready to get him. I explained to them like we're in the process of moving states, like the people with like the transportation for our car, like it was supposed to get shipped, it didn't happen, so we end up having to drive, like, you know. So I was telling them like, you know, we're more than welcome. I asked them where they located. It was like St. Louis, I think they said. So I was like, oh well, you know, we have to probably pass by that state, like, you know, we can go through, or maybe they said Virginia, I can't remember what they said, but they basically was saying like they could they was like, no, it's fine, like we can bring him to you, da 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 da. So they like, you know, how you want to do the money. And then something told me to hold off on the money. So I end up like having a whole conversation with them, getting their, I try to get their Venmo. For some reason they wouldn't come up on Venmo. So I was just like, okay, I don't see you guys Venmo. And I know this story probably sound crazy, and you're probably like, Amber, the red flags are there, but honestly I don't normally handle things like this. This was my first time just trying to handle it. And honestly my man was just like, okay, like I don't think we should get a dog right now, like we're about to move. And I already had my mindset, so I kind of like was just like whatever. So I end up like basically not giving them the money, because me and my man wasn't on board, and my dad was just like, no, you guys have to be on the same page, because if you don't want a dog, like you don't want to be taking care of the dog by yourself, or feel like you doing everything by yourself. So I end up telling the people like, oh, I'm so sorry, no longer going to be able to get the dog, get Rocco, we're so sorry, but we're gonna be traveling this year. And that was my man whole thing, like we're gonna be traveling and stuff, you know, just gonna be doggy daycare, having to pay for that, it's like another child and stuff. So he was just like, you know, we're not going to be able to like give the dog fully undivided attention, especially because we have Nolan, like, you know. So I end up talking to him like the next day, and he was just like, oh, like I wasn't saying we couldn't get the dog, I just didn't know if you wanted to take on that responsibility. He was like, he was looking out for me because he's going to be traveling, he's not going to be able to help me and do all that. So basically we ended up coming to a common ground, and we were going to get the dog. So I reached back out to the people, which I should have known that was God showing me like I didn't need the dog. But I ended up reaching out to the people because they never responded once I apologized to them about, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to send the money. Like, we're not going to get the dog, da, da, da. So they never responded, never text back or anything. So I'm just like, wow. Remind you, it was just so weird because it was just like, you know, I thought maybe they were gonna be like, oh, I apologize. I mean, not I apologize, but I'll accept your apology. Like, it's cool. Like, we get it. We want the best care for Rocco. Like, that's how I thought they would respond, but they never responded. So I ended up texting them the next day, like, hey, never mind. Like, is Rocco still available? We can get him. I end up talking it over with my man, like my partner. They told me that, I was like, he told me that it's fine. Like, we'll be able to like get him a, registration card and everything. He can fly with us. So yes, I ended up getting the card and getting him as an emotional support dog, and I had my therapist signed off on it. Had his name was Rocco Dunn. Got him a card and everything. His car was like in the process of getting shipped to our new home here, and then we were like still back in Texas. So basically, like, after that or whatever, the people was like, oh, like, you know, we can proceed with the payment, like, you need to do a deposit. So basically they were saying the dog was $500 and the deposit was $500. So in total it was $1,000, and then whenever you do either you do the airport or the drop off to your door, it's either $100 or $200. So basically no more than $1,200. So I was like, oh, okay, like, you know, I can give the deposit now. And my man was just like, oh, how much is the deposit? I was like, oh, they said $500. I was like, I'm gonna just go ahead and send it. So yeah. So basically, I end up like I couldn't find them on the thing. Also too, I want to mention they had like this contract that they were supposed to be sending. It took them literally all freaking day. Like, it took them all day to the point like I'm texting, I'm double texting, triple texting, like, hey, you know, I just want to make sure Rocco's still available, like da 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 da. They like, oh, sorry, we've been busy with other clients, and you know, just all that crazy stuff. So I was just like, we're not even crazy stuff, but all that normal stuff that you would think like, oh, okay, you know, it is a business. So they end up sending me more videos and stuff of Rocco, like him playing with a little girl. They sent me like pictures of him, and I was telling my dad how on the picture on his profile, like on the website, he looks more chunkier, and then the other pictures they sent me, he looks more slimmer. So I was just like, dang, is that the same dog? My dad was just like, maybe it was the way the person was holding them, da 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 da. So I'm having all these red flags that I should have noticed like beforehand. Now that I'm looking back, I'm like, everything was there. The signs was there. So after that or whatever, I end up sending the deposit. Well, no, they sent me the contract finally after all day. And then I end up signing it off, sent the money, sent the Venmo. No, I couldn't find them on Venmo, so they end up sending me the PayPal account. So I end up sending it to them on PayPal, and they told me whenever you send the payment, and this is so dumb, Amber, like I don't even know why I even still went on with it, but they told me to send the PayPal payment and put family and friends. And I don't really, like I said, I don't really handle things like that. So I was just like really naive. So they were like, the family and friends thing, I didn't know the family and friend things meant like, you know, you can't get a refund because it's basically like, you know, the person. I thought like, oh, family and friends, because it's gonna mess up like in PayPal, like they can't get it. Like, I don't know, I don't really use PayPal, only for my business. So I don't really use my personal account unless like, you know, I might go to a market or something, or like, oh, we don't have this. But I normally use Venmo more than PayPal. So I was just like, oh, okay. So I ended up sending it. It went through. They was like, okay, we got it. Like, we'll let you know. I was like, okay, I'll text you whenever we get closer, and I'll send an address. Because I didn't want to send an address so early. So I was like, you know what? I'll just wait till we get closer. So closer to the time, I'm reaching out and I'm asking them like, hey, like, you know, what day are you guys trying to ship him? Just so I can know. Because remind you, we had to end up driving from Texas to this state because trucks couldn't get shipped, and like the whole thing was a shit show. So we end up driving for 24 hours. Well, we end up staying overnight after 10 hours, and then my man drove 10 hours the next day. Oh, that's a truck outside. But yeah, so it was just like, oh, okay, like, you know, just wanted to give them an update or whatever. So they was like, oh, don't worry, Rocco is yours. Like, we took him off the thing, da 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 da. Like, you know, just basically reassuring me that I'm good, I'm in good hands. So the money still haven't hit to their account. Like when I went to it, it was just saying like basically it was gonna take a couple days. I can't remember the exact amount of days, but it was gonna take a couple days to get to them. And I was just like, okay, cool. Like, you know, they're gonna get their money at a certain day. So for some reason, like I had called my dad and told him how they never responded once I texted them again the second day to ask them could they come on a certain day. They never responded back to me. So I reached out to them again. They still didn't respond. So I told my dad this because he called and asked me like the update on the dog. I said, yeah, I sent my deposit, but like they haven't been really responding to me. They're not really good at communicating. Like I just don't understand. Like it was so like on my tail about trying to get the deposit and stuff and contract and get everything straight, but like they're not really like saying anything now. So he was just like, okay, and hung up. So I thought like, you know, it's fine because my dad didn't say like, oh no, something's wrong. He just ended up saying, oh okay, and hung up. My dad called me probably later on that evening and was like, Amber, that is a scam. I'm like, what is a scam? He's like, the dog. I'm like, how do you know that? He was like, because something was telling me like to go check it out because you told me they won't really like responding to you and doing what they were supposed to do. So he was like, I text them, like I went on the website and I put in I want Rocco, which is the dog that I wanted, and they text him the same exact messages. Like my dad said he was feeding into it just to see how it would go, and they sent the same exact message, like as if it was an automatic message. Like send a message saying like, hey, like, you know, Rocco is like, what makes you a great candidate for Rocco? Like literally the same stuff that they were telling me. So my dad fed into it, and then they was like, oh, like how you guys have to pay, you have to pay a deposit. Was saying like my dad had to pay a deposit and in order to like set it in stone, basically like set it in place like for him to get the dog. So my dad was like, how are you gonna say like Rocco is available and my daughter, like somebody already has that? I don't know if he said somebody or my daughter. So they end up texting back like, oh, I knew you. It was like something, I can't remember if it was like, oh, I knew like this was a scam or you're trying to confuse me or something like that. But I end up texting them back and was just like, how are y'all gonna like give Rocco to someone else when he's supposed to be mine? Like I already gave you my money and everything. Like why would you do that? And they're like, oh, Amber, like we knew it was you. Like we knew by the number. That I remind you, my dad has 2 phones just like me. I use my second phone, which is my business number, and it's not even where I'm from. And then my dad used his second phone, which is a Florida number, and we don't even have the same like area code for our business phones. So it was just like, no, you did not even know that was me. And it wasn't me, it was my dad. So I'm like, no, like that is pure BS. Like you guys have really got caught. And I'm like, I'm gonna make sure, because my dad was like, I think he told him like, oh, I'm gonna tell the police. They was like, try it or something like that. So I end up texting and was just like, yeah, I'm gonna make sure you don't get your money. Like I cursed them out so bad. I'm like you are so sick. Like how can you do that? Da 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 da. Like you're not gonna get your money. And they responded and was like, no, Amber, if you really just trust us. And I feel like they only responded this because they knew they didn't get their money yet. Like it didn't like actually get in their account yet because PayPal was making them wait a couple days. So they was like, oh, Amber, no, if you just trust us or believe us, we promise like it's not gonna do that or it's not gonna be like that, da 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 da. Remind you, this was literally like either on my birthday or the day after my birthday. I think the day after my birthday. It happened like a week or so before my birthday, but then I think we found out like the scam thing, or I can't really remember. Either way, it was around my birthday. And yeah, so we end up like me and the guy going back and forth, and I eventually reached out. Like my dad was like, no, Amber, you need to call the bank tonight and get them to dispute it. And I'm like, how? Like I'm thinking the bank is only open from 8 to 5 or 8 to 5:30. And he's like, no, you can call the customer service. They'll be able to put a hold on your account and it won't go through. So I end up calling, and the lady was just basically like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll be able to put a hold on it and cancel the card. It shouldn't go through PayPal, right? She didn't know what she was talking about. So I waited until the day it said it was going to go, which I think was like May 8th, because I think they had like 7 to 8 days. So yeah, it was around my birthday, because my birthday is April 29th. So I waited or whatever to the stuff, like the day it said it was going to go through, and it actually went through. So I called the bank back and I explained to them, I talked to someone in customer service last night, and they told me that, you know, the thing wasn't going to go through. So I'm like, why would they tell me that if, you know, if it actually went through, like, or if it actually was going to go through? She was like, yeah, I don't even know why she told you that, because you can't dispute a transaction if it's already in the process. Like, that would be something you would have to, like, contact PayPal. But what we can do is investigate it, do a whole report, cancel your card. You'll be able to get your money back after we investigate it, I guess, to make sure it's true. And I was just so pissed because I, like, at that point, like, I wasn't getting the dog. I wasn't sure if I was going to get my money back because I didn't think they believed me. And then for 3, it's like the people already done got over on me. So they kind of, like, pissed me off and felt like I just was so dumb. Like, devastated, because I was just like, okay, like, at this point, like, it was just a lot, especially because we were moving to, like, it was just a lot. So fast forward to, I want to say, like, after I talked to them, they end up putting a hold on my PayPal account. And after they put a hold, I should have put more concealer because I wanted more under my eye, but I'm gonna just do more powder. But yeah, so after the PayPal account got on hold, they end up reaching out to me through mail, because she told me, like, they were gonna mail my new address if they basically did it. So when I got here, they end up mailing me a paper and saying, like, you know, they investigated it, they seen that I was telling the truth, because I really don't have any problems with my bank. Like, I don't call them, and I'm not the type of person that dispute transactions it's not supposed to, or that just be like trying to get money back from people. I don't even call back to get any money back. Like, if somebody used my card, I just get another card. Like, I don't even have time to try to figure out who the person is or nothing. So, like, it's really rare that I'm calling, especially for a big purchase like that. Not a big purchase, but like me sending out $500 and like me requesting that back. That I've never done that before. So I'm like, at this point, I'm scared. I'm telling my mom, like, oh my God, they're not gonna give me my money back. She's like, no, like, it happened to me before. Like, they will, especially because they never happened to you before. They see how much money you have. You're not gonna just be lying about that, like, you know. So after that, I end up getting my money back, and yeah, like, I end up getting my money back, and I was so pissed. Like, I wanted the whole world to know who they were, because I didn't want nobody else to get scammed. And my dad was just like, he should have known, because it was just too good to be true. So this not even it, y'all. I was so obsessed. I was so obsessed that I wanted to know, like, who was bothering me. I did some digging. I ended up finding the real page, which hopefully I could find it by the time I post on here, because I would love to show people the real people, so just in case it happened to them. And they actually based out of California, but I know they do shipping and stuff. They basically took their stuff, and I was going to reach out to them and tell them, but I honestly just didn't even want no trouble, so I was just like, I'm going to just leave it alone. But they basically took their pictures, because they send you a picture of, like, so-called the parents of Rocco, like, of the puppy that you want, and they sold their puppy pictures, like, they're full grown, of how they breed their Rottweilers off of the LA page. And they had an Instagram, they had a TikTok and everything. So that page was actually legit. I should have known. Like, not even that. The kicker is, if you go to the bottom of their website, it was just made in 2024. I'm like, how? And my dad said, like, how the page was made in 2024, and they said they've been doing this for years. I was just like, why I didn't look at none of that? Like, I just felt so stupid. So I think I was just so pressed in a moment to get a Rottweiler, because you know, Rottweiler was brought up into the conversation, and I didn't want the one that my mother-in-law had. So I think I was just blinded and was just like, no, all I see is green, go. Like, pay for it and then get the dog. I end up putting all this stuff in my car to get shipped here. For some reason, I didn't even buy it yet, because I was waiting till we got here to actually buy it all, because I didn't want so many packages coming here while we wasn't here. Like, we already had furniture and stuff coming here, because we end up getting all new furniture and everything, except for the beds. But we end up getting new furniture in the kitchen, living room, hallway, and everything. So we were already having all those packages come. We didn't want it to be, like, you know, a lot. So yeah, so basically I ended up finding the real one, and I was just so pissed. Like, I was so pissed. Tell me why. Let me pull up my phone for this. I actually did good with not even, like, having to use my phone for the story. So let's see. Hold on, let me see. Okay, so this first happened April 30th, the day after my birthday. And we had a conversation, and then I told you it was hard to get in touch with them, like May 1st. I had to keep texting, then I text again, and then we end up talking again May 2nd, May 4th. So it was like May 2nd and May 4th. I had to keep texting them after they got the payment. And then May 5th, I reached out again. They didn't say anything. And then, so basically what it was is I reached out to them because I was like, oh, where are like the paperwork and stuff? I need his stuff so I can go ahead and register him as an emotional support dog. So I need like his vet records. Like, how are you going to give me all that? And also too, where we stay, they wanted to see. Her mic keep cutting off only because it's saying that it's like the temperature, and it's probably because it's little new ring light I got this new ring light. It's so cute. And it's perfect. Like, it's literally perfect. I like how it's not like the ones that have like a hole in the middle. It's literally looks like a, I don't know, like so professional. And the quality is really good too. And I was gonna say, so I basically have reached out to them, get the vet records or whatever, because the people here, the landlord, wanted to see everything. So that was that. And then that's how we found out like something was sketchy. So they basically, that was May 6th, the last conversation I had with them. They never responded. I blocked them off of everything. Well, not off of everything, but you know, I blocked the number. Why I get a text message, that was May 6th. I get a text message May 30th saying hello. I'm like, who's this? And I'll make sure I put the picture like on the thing. But I'm like, hello. I mean, they saying hello. I'm like, who's this? They like, this is the owner of the Rottweiler puppies. I'm like, quit contacting me before I report you to the authorities. They like, oh, okay, thanks. That's a smart move. Still waiting for them to call me. I'm like, leave me the F alone. They never responded, and I blocked them. But my whole thing is, you really responded to me again after almost a month. Like, you basically took my number again. You thought like, oh, I might can get her again. I'm like, that's so crazy to me. To be honest, like, whatever people do to make money, that's their business. But I just feel like to scam is crazy. I don't care if you're scamming other stuff. Like, I just feel like, I don't know, like maybe I'm a goody tissue, or maybe I'm a great person and some people just not. But like, I just feel like to scam people and take their money just because you're lazy and you don't want to get up and go get a job is insane. And yeah, like, I'm just sorry. Like, there's other options out here to make money, and like, people like that would never be blessed. And yeah, I just was like, I gave it to God. I left it alone, and I was just like, you know what? Now I don't even want a dog. Like, oh, and by the way, y'all, this is brown mascara. I've been obsessed. YSL always send me PR packages like every month. And so grateful, so honored. Like, I can't wait. Hopefully one day, fingers crossed, I'm able to work with them, like do some type of, well, I know why, but it's so annoying. But yeah, I was saying basically, like, hopefully I can work with them, do like a commercial, a photo shoot, oh, excuse me, or something, because I'm so obsessed with their things, and I just love how they think about me all the time. So grateful to be on their PR list. But yeah, so that's basically the story on how I got scammed for a dog. Honestly, do not be like me, guys. Don't be naive. Don't even try to go off of emotions and hurry up and get something. Like, that's the lesson. Like, you know, if it's meant to be, it'll be. But don't try to go and get it just because somebody else brought it up, and in the moment, you know, you want it. Even though I could afford it and get a dog, it was just like, obviously wasn't the right time to get a dog. And yeah, so we were just like, you know what, we're gonna get a dog whenever we move next year, hopefully. Like, you know, we're somewhere stable for a couple years, because we don't know. We just have to wait and see, like, you know, if we're gonna be somewhere for a couple years, because we don't want to be getting a dog, keep moving. And also too, I want another baby. Obviously I want marriage, and that's just like a topic that I feel like this society always try to push stuff on people, like, oh, if you're not married, you're having kids. Like, honestly, whatever's my journey and whatever's your journey, that's just what it is. Like, we don't have to be on the same path. Honestly, me having a kid right now and not being married shouldn't be like affecting you. You shouldn't be losing any sleep on that. But that's another topic for another day, because I think people are just a bunch of weirdos when it comes to stuff like that. But yeah, obviously I want to be married and things like that. So just a lot of things I want to do. And I love Kylie's blush. I love a powder blush. Okay, obviously this light is actually working a lot because they are not playing with this temperature thing. But yeah, I said that I love a powder blush. I just feel like a powder, I love like a powder like matte type of look. I don't really like a dry look. I don't really like a wet look, unless like it just depends on what it is. But maybe in like the summertime I like it, but when it's like getting like about to be fall and stuff, I really like a dry look. But this summer I actually been doing like a dry look, and I think it's because it's not really hot here. So but yeah, so that's really like my story time. Like I said, don't be like me, don't be naive, because people are really crazy out here, and they don't care. I gotta put mascara on the bottom of my eye. And they don't care, and they will try to get all your money. They do not feel any remorse. And yeah, don't be like me. So that it's just so insane to me. Like every time I think about it, I'm like, that's so freaking crazy. Like I feel like I've never got scammed before. Honestly, no. Like when I be seeing these, I seen this video and it was saying like how easy it is to take my money, and I reposted it, and it was like a girl, I think she was getting like Chick-fil-A or something. It was like, oh, do you want to donate to, literally, I didn't even know it was a scam. I thought it'd be true. Like I was in Marshall's a couple weeks ago. She's like, oh, you want to donate to the kids? Annoying. I just want to finish. But she asked me that I want to donate to the kids so they can get school supplies, and I said yeah. She was like, how much? I was like, $20. She was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. But like I always do that. If you know me personally, like I don't post stuff like that because I've always been a giving person. My man say I give too much, but I always like just like I be like, yeah, I donate. Or like it could be like, oh, you want to donate $1 to the hospital, the kids that's sick at the hospital. I'm like, okay. Like it's so easy to get money out of me. So that's why I feel like, oh my god, like they probably was like, jackpot, I got the right one, because she's slow. But that was really the story time. Hopefully this recorded, because it kept stopping because of the ring light temperature. And I enjoyed this story time. I feel like I've been really consistent with YouTube. I found a balance finally when it comes to YouTube and just TikTok, because TikTok I used to just try to post like every day or post every other day to like, I want millions of followers up there. But honestly, it's just like my time is my time, my journey is my journey, like I said before. So I'm just giving it to God, and the day it happened, obviously I will be grateful. I'm still grateful for the 16K I have now. But I just learned to like, sometimes no, I'm just not gonna post up there. I'm just gonna focus on YouTube, because that's where I started, and that's where I want the more supporters. Okay, I try to wait and let my camera cool off some, so it seemed like it has, because it's a lot lighter. Normally when like the temperature and stuff happens, it'll like darken. So but yeah, hopefully everything turned out right. And like I said, like yeah, I've just been pouring into YouTube because that's where it started, and there's that. And yeah, I enjoyed telling this story time. Hopefully I got straight to the point. I didn't leave out any details. I don't know why I felt like it would have been a lot more, because it was so old and I couldn't really remember. But yeah, watch out for more videos to come. I'm honestly going to go back to dropping every Sunday like I was doing before, because I know those are days that people relax, and it worked out for me, because I've been on YouTube for a couple years now, and I always did like every Sunday. And yeah, like obviously I stopped because I'm a mother, but I'm gonna try to get it done every Sunday. I'm not really sure. I have tons of things like planned it in my notes that's for YouTube. And then also I'm still trying to decide. I think I'm gonna do Vlogtober on TikTok like I did last year, just because that helps me get more exposure posting every day of October. But I'm gonna also do like things with you guys up here, and that would be like if we're doing something like for fall, like you know, we're going to like a little thing for fall, or like whether it's game days or things like that, I'm gonna make sure that I post up here as well. So that's gonna help out a lot. And then yeah, I'm just super excited. I'm in a great place. So sometimes I do kind of get nervous to really share, because I'm like, wow, I'm really a content creator now. Like I've always done YouTube, but I feel like TikTok I show a little more than what I was doing on YouTube. And I'm like kind of comfortable, but I'm also just like trying to protect some things as well, because people can be so jealous and so weird, especially on TikTok and just social media in general, and they'll try to tear you down or preying on your downfall, or just jealous, envious, and things like that. So I'm still trying to like share and do that without feeling like I'll post something on Instagram and I'll delete it, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to share too much. But I feel like I get so many messages on Instagram how I inspire other people and stuff, so I feel like you guys kind of keep me pushing forward, and I'm so grateful. Don't want to get emotional up here, but like I just really appreciate y'all, because some of y'all really been here since the beginning, and I was in a different place than I was now, and I'm just so grateful for my life, and like so happy that you guys are supporting me. And yeah, so stay tuned for a lot of things that's going to be happening this year. I also found us family Halloween costumes. I don't really like Halloween. I don't like supporting it because sometimes it's just like scary, and like some things be like demonic. But like we dressed up last year as Toy Story. His dad did not want to do in a photo shoot because the Woody costume, it was kind of like ugly because it was like not last minute, but we had found him at the Halloween store in Houston, and it was just like, I don't know, like I feel like the material and stuff, it wasn't as good as it should have been. So, and then he didn't have his own jeans, like it was just like a whole thing. So yeah, this year we're doing another theme, like a family costume, and it's so freaking cute. I don't want to tell y'all yet because I don't want nobody to get it, but I ordered it. It's on the way to get here this weekend, so I'm super excited because we're still in August. So yeah, make sure you guys save this, because if somebody else do it, we already done ordered it and everything. And I haven't seen nobody post family Halloween costumes at all yet, so. And I'm just super excited. It's gonna turn out so nice. This is the first year we're gonna take Nolan like actually trick-or-treating and stuff, but he's not gonna eat none of the candy. My son don't eat candy, and then also too I'm gonna have like healthy snacks like in the car or whatever for him. But I don't know if we're gonna go to the neighborhoods and stuff, but I just want him to get the experience of like how it was for us growing up, going door to door. And my mom never let us eat anybody else candy. It was always like from the church, or it was like from my grandparents and things like that. But I'm still like indecisive about this. I don't know like how we're gonna do with that, but we're gonna make it fun for him and not spooky scary, you know. So hopefully we figure something out by then. But I don't want to turn this into like a vlog because this is just a story time. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.
Go outside. Big time forward. The star boy there.